I'm sorry. Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you wanted to join me today. I haven't actually prepared anything for today's video. I just have something I want to talk about and hear you guys' take on. So I have no script, no idea, no nothing, no hope. What I want to do today is that I want to address some comments that I've gotten on primarily videos I've made about my vegan journey and my what I eat in a day videos, and whenever I talk about veganism, I tend to get this kind of comment. I assume that if something happens to me, it most likely also happens to other people. And perhaps you could find this helpful. Otherwise, let's just talk about it and figure out what we're going to do. And if nothing else, humor us with something that is intensely depressing when we think about it. Okay. Oh, that is a really bad intro. So if you haven't guessed, today's video is going to be related to veganism, and I've been calling myself a vegan for 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And before that, I was a vegetarian for a while, but generally I grew up with animal products and meat especially, and you can find everything you need to know in my vegan journey video where I talk about my upbringing, teenage years, young adulthood, being anti-vegan, how I went from that to this, and just everything you can find in that video. So I don't want to repeat myself too much. What I want to discuss specifically today is comments that I've gotten about cravings, because that's something I enjoy talking about when it comes to veganism or generally transitioning from one diet to another. I know that veganism is not technically a diet, but an overall lifestyle that seeks to exclude animal products to the extent that is possible, which I think is the official definition. It is not only a diet, it's also about what you wear and what you enjoy in entertainment, like circuses, zoos, leather, feathers, animal testing, all these kinds of stuff, because animal products and the exploitation of animals can be found basically everywhere. And as a vegan, you seek to exclude all of these products and services to the possible extent. But when I talk about veganism and when I talk about transitioning into eating more plant-based, I always try to include cravings, because transitioning from one diet to another or from one lifestyle to another lifestyle will ultimately, especially in the beginning, often result in you craving things from your old lifestyle or your old diet that you do not grant yourself anymore. This happened to me when I started transitioning into plant-based foods. I started craving things that I knew I was no longer allowed to eat, and I no longer wanted to eat them, but my brain wasn't really, caught up. So I really wanted to eat these products. I didn't do it because I had this new set of values. I didn't want to do that. But I like to give people tips on how to overcome those cravings and how to become better and how to sort of find alternatives that will sort of scratch that itch. And that has resulted in some delightful takes by people who say things like craving animal products will make you a non-vegan. Craving animal products is anti-vegan. When you crave animal products, you wish for animal products to be in the world, and as a vegan you do not. So by that logic, I am not vegan. This is something that I have stumbled upon quite a few times. I really want to talk about this in the open, and you're very free to comment down below what your feelings are. I would love to hear you out. But this is my take on the cravings make you non-vegan. First of all, how very dare you? This is the kind of comments and mentality that makes some people despise vegans. And it shows up badly for everyone. Everyone in the vegan movement have met prejudices of being super preachy and really extreme, or like just really judgmental and just unnecessarily mean. And I think this is one of the things that they sort of refer to, because I don't agree. I don't know if I said that. I don't agree with that mentality statement at all. I don't agree with the fact that you should be defined by your cravings unless you act upon them. And so that is just where I'm at. I don't think that is a very helpful narrative when we want to get more people to be interested in veganism. I don't think it is a helpful narrative when we want to present veganism as something you want to pursue or be a part of. By telling people that they cannot have their own thoughts, or that their thoughts are wrong, or that they have already lost or failed at veganism because they have thought things, it's really unconstructive, and I think that's something that's going to turn a lot of people off veganism. That's also why I don't agree with it, because from my point of view, I think as many people should try to reduce animal products, or be vegan, or be vegetarian, or be plant-based, reduce as much as possible. And when we get a lot of people to reduce, we also automatically just bibbidi babbidi boo. We also get more people to go completely vegan, because that is sort of what that narrative drives us towards. If we build this narrative that is either you go 100% vegan and you're with us, or you do anything that's not 100% and you're against us, we're going to have a very small team, you guys. We won't even be allowed to play in a minor soccer league. I got a comment on a video I made maybe 2 years ago about why we use animal product names for vegan products, like vegan bacon, which is, I think, the example that I used in that video. It's ancient, but it's still something I stand by. I think it's a nice idea that we can use these sort of names, not because that we celebrate the idea of bacon, but because the name tells us how we can use the vegan product, and it's going to be easier for consumers to understand how to use the products if we call them something they already have a relationship with. Instead of saying soy strips, a consumer with no prior experience with vegan cooking or plant-based cooking will have no idea how to use these things. But if you say veggie bacon, they instantly think of recipes where they would have used normal bacon, and now they can use this instead. So it's a consumer tool to tell people, this is how we use it. Okay. But there were comments on there saying that you're just coming up with excuses because you clearly still want animal products. So talking about animal products and acknowledging that they still play a huge role in so many people's diets today is not the same as wanting them to exist. It's acknowledging that they do. But whether or not you agree with the morality of these products, whether or not you think it's ethical that they exist or not, does not have anything to do with the acknowledgement of the fact that they do. I acknowledge that animal products exist. And when you acknowledge that, you can work with that, and you can talk to people on their field, and you can explain to them how they can use vegan products and plant-based products. And how I feel ethically about something is an entirely different ballgame. And also I think it's kind of funny that people assume that they can tell these things about me from watching a video that's 2 years old. That's something else. I try to keep the ethical part and the environmentalist part of plant-based eating separate in my work. So when I go out and give lectures and workshops and talk to people, I try to keep them separate, because as soon as people feel like you're judging them on a moral point, it gets really, really hard to get through with anything whatsoever. And I do that to a certain extent here on YouTube as well. I do want to talk about ethics sometimes, and I don't think it's a bad idea when I do, but it's not the entire platform. It's primarily environmentalism, and I want to talk about ethics, but I also want to keep some of that to myself. There are other YouTubers that do talk about ethics, but just because I don't talk about it all the time does not mean that I don't think it's wrong. I think it's absolutely unfair to judge people based on their thoughts and what goes on in their head and what they specifically do not act upon. I don't have cravings for animal products anymore. I just understand those emotions because I have had them myself. And that does not mean that I want animal products to exist. It means that I understand that transitioning from any lifestyle to another lifestyle is difficult, and you will not necessarily be able to switch your entire mentality overnight. I didn't do that, and a lot of people didn't do that. Some people can go vegan overnight, and that's flippin' amazing, but transitioning slowly is also freaking amazing, because I don't think it changes anything whether or not you crave something. What matters is how you act on it. I don't have cravings, and I don't eat animal products. A+. a person who has animal product cravings but don't eat animal products, same result, also A+. It's sort of the same thing like saying, well, you're not actually losing weight because you're thinking about eating cake. You're not eating cake though, but you're thinking about it, so you're not actually losing weight. Whether or not you crave something has nothing to do at all with the result. It all depends on how you act upon it. And I have the utmost respect for people in the beginning of their journeys that crave animal products but tell themselves, no, we're better than this now. We want to do better. We want to improve. Let's do something else and go and find other solutions, because cravings can be really, really difficult to manage. And I have so much respect for people who still battle cravings, and I'm glad I don't anymore. And if you want my tips on it, I will leave them down below. I have a link to a video where I specifically talk about this. But telling people that they want animal products to exist because they crave them is just so incredibly wrong, and it really speaks volumes about what this person understands as cravings, or how this person understands nutrition and habits and routines and just generally how the brain works. I am baffled by this, and I have stumbled upon this many times at this point, and I am equally puzzled every time I hear someone talk about this, because I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair for the people who are trying to become vegan, vegetarian, or plant-based, any sort of, we will now reduce our animal product intake. I think it's super unfair to those people in that process, because you immediately discourage them from going further. Because if you tell people it doesn't even matter if you still have the thoughts in your head. Thoughts do not slaughter animals. Thoughts do not support animal agriculture. Thoughts do not invest in animal agriculture. Thoughts do not breed animals into agriculture. So thoughts are harmless unless you act upon them. And anything else is bullshit. I'm just done with the internet. Just, no. The bottom line is, I think it's unreasonable to expect people to be able to change their thought processes, their habits, their preferences, and their cravings overnight, or even over the course of many nights. Personally, I haven't had a craving for animal products in a really, really long time, and I don't regard animal products as something that belongs in my body at all. But you can actually feel the exact same way, not thinking that animal products belong in your body, while still craving them, because cravings, as I've said in many other videos, is so much more than just food and fuel for our bodies. It's traditions and emotions, and it's subjective and emotional. I think calling someone anti-vegan or non-vegan because they have cravings, or even because they acknowledge that other people might have, is unreasonable, but I also understand where these feelings are coming from. I think many years ago I made a video about how not to become an agro-eco warrior, where I talk about how sometimes, and I stand by everything I said in that video as well, I talk about how sometimes you can feel so frustrated with the world that nothing seems to be happening fast enough, and things seem to be getting gradually just worse and worse, and people won't open their eyes and see that the problem is right on their plate or hanging in their closet, and it's frustrating as all hell. I understand that so much, because I feel that too sometimes. But in those situations where we feel the most frustrated, we have to remember how we can make our most efficient, effective activism work. Because that's not it. Calling people non-vegan for having cravings is just not it, but I understand where the feelings are coming from. I understand that you're just really passionate and furious and really just generally over it. We have to keep our eyes on the ball and the real problems in this industry. The real problem in the industry, and the people who needs to be called out, are not YouTubers who've been talking about veganism and how they live a vegan diet for 3 years. That is not it. It's not even the people who are trying to go vegan or trying to go vegetarian but still have meat once in a while. They are not even the people we need to be calling out. They're the people we need to be welcoming and teaching and showing and talking to. The industry! We need to focus on the big industries and we need to make veganism even more visible in the mainstream media in a positive way. And this is just so not the way of doing it, because no one is going to join our team if they think that we suck. So let's show them how we do not suck. Yeehaw. The feeling I am always left with in these sort of conversations is, what is the purpose? Say that you're right. Say that, okay, turns out I'm not a vegan, so I am sorry for calling myself a vegan. Turns out I'm not, guys. Too bad. What is the goal? What is the purpose? Because my goal with veganism is to get as many people engaged in it as possible. That does not seem to be the goal in this case, if we keep telling people that they're doing it wrong for things they're not even doing, but for things they are thinking. I don't understand. So, the bottom line is, as a conclusion, I understand where the feelings are coming from. It's intensely frustrating to see nothing changing, and you just really want to put that energy somewhere. But give it a positive outlet. Talk to people in a positive way and engage with people both inside and outside the movement in a positive way, and be a good representation of veganism, because we want a big team. It doesn't freaking matter if people crave animal products from time to time, as long as they don't act on it. And cravings are more than simply wanting these things to exist. Cravings for animal products can also be cravings for situations where you had animal products, but there was an emotion or a tradition or a thing, and now you're missing out on that thing. It can be all kinds of things. Cravings does not mean that you want that product to exist. I don't know how else I can explain this further. But I hope you liked this video. I would love to talk more about these small, tiny details, because this is both something that happens in my everyday life, so it's sort of like an everyday glimpse into something that bugs me a little bit. But I also feel like it's important to talk about both the pros and the cons. And I don't think criticizing veganism means that you're against veganism. That is not how it works either. There are other things I disagree with within the vegan community, and I can make more videos talking about my sort of feelings, emotions, and opinions in different areas of veganism. But criticizing it does not mean that you don't want people to join. Criticizing it does not mean that everything about this thing is bad. Criticizing something in a constructive way, or simply talking about things in a reflective way, simply just means that you're a functioning human being. I don't think I need to say any more than that. Thank you so much for listening to me and my rambles. Leave me a comment down below and tell me, what are you guys' feelings about this? I would love to hear you out. Anyone who wasn't a vegan watching this, you are so welcome on this team, you guys, and you get to crave things too. But if you really want a lot of cool recipes that will sort of scratch the itch of those cravings, I have tons of recipes for all kinds of different dishes, healthy and unhealthy. You are so welcome on this team. We would love to have you, and I will show you how fun and amazing it can be to cut down on animal products and to start living a more sustainable life. So thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!